And for more on the discussion now, let's talk to Reinhard Heinisch, who is the Professor of Comparative Austrian Politics at the University of Salzburg. Professor, great to have you on the show. So what is driving voter support for the far-right Freedom Party now?
Well, as said, people are very discontented with current politics, with the previous government, the crises, the handling of COVID. Immigration was the number one issue, according to exit polls, and a government that was quite divided and wasn't able to really present its policies as a success. And the main opposition party, the Social Democrats, have been busy with themselves rather than trying to appeal to voters. And this was an election that was a change mood. It was a change election, and the Freedom Party was most able to appeal to that sentiment of change that was very prevalent among at least 25% of the Austrians.
So it seems like the FPO, the far-right Freedom Party, is confronted with some challenges facing to form a coalition government. And is that Herbert Kickl himself?
To a large extent, yes. It is the Conservatives have to decide, do they want to be the junior partner under a radical leader like Kickl, or do they want to be the senior partner in a coalition with two other parties? And if you look at it that way, that may be the second option, may be the more appealing one. However, there are certainly people in the Conservative Party who would say that there's a greater overlap in terms of the ideology and the agenda with the Freedom Party, and therefore it's also possible that there might be a deal. It's not clear whether Kickl would insist in the long run in being in the government itself, or whether Kickl would sort of step back, remain party leader, and play the leading role in parliament. Lastly, there's also a role of the Austrian president. Against the wishes of the Austrian president, it is very hard to form a government because he needs to appoint members of the government personally, and he's completely free in doing so.
And how could the election results impact the broader political landscape in Europe?
Well, we seem to be seeing in the emergence of a Central European bloc of countries. If we look at election results in Eastern Germany, if we also look at election results in Slovakia, typically also the main opposition parties in the Czech Republic and Poland, and as already mentioned, Viktor Orban. So these are countries where the population is very fearful. The population tends to want to turn into a fortress. They are very concerned about the war in the Ukraine, and they clearly are afraid of immigration and globalization, and are very skeptical of the European Union. And I think Austria sort of plays right into that trend. It's a very liberal trend, and we have to see whether that will also translate into government policy. It's not clear that it will. It's possible that this is temporary, but nonetheless, Austria seems to be confirming a trend that we've seen in other countries in Central Europe.
Thank you very much for your insight. That is Reinhard Heinisch, Professor of Comparative Austrian Politics at the University of Salzburg.